How's everybody doing today? Nobody's here yet. Hey there. There we go. Awesome. So, what I am going to try to do, I did thank you so much to Priest and Joey, of course, for recommending that I download OBS on my computer. It is a super old computer, but I did manage to get it downloaded, and I am going through a bunch of stuff trying to figure out exactly how I am going to use my phone and do a live stream with this whole OBS, because usually it's a lot more effective or efficient, if you will, if you have like a webcam, which I do not. I've tried doing the GoPro thing for a little while, but that just drove me up a wall because I like to stop and edit my stuff when I'm doing things, and I can do that on my phone. I can just hit stop and then come back later. But when you have like a GoPro, you have to record a bunch of stuff and you just keep going. And I don't want to sift through all the keep going stuff. So I find it a lot easier to just use my phone. Unfortunately, we upgraded. So now the quality isn't nearly as good as it was when I had a 12 mini, which I think is absolutely interesting because when you upgrade stuff, it's supposed to be better, but it is not better really when they upgraded from the 12, and now I think we have the 16. I don't even know, whatever the new phone is right now, that's what I've got. And I just wanted to also, sorry, I am in my pajamas again because it's late in the day and all of the work is done, so I've decided I'm going to be comfortable for the day. And it's a little late for coffee, but I will be having some in a little bit anyway because it sounds really good now that I've brought it up. No, I did not put up an episode today. This is Friday. I something happened and I wasn't able to do it, and I apologize, but I'm going to have something to go up on Saturday, probably early afternoon, and I had it all put together and things just didn't quite work out in order to make that happen. So I will have an episode hopefully tomorrow afternoon, which is Saturday, because today just completely got away. And yesterday was a different kind of disaster. We did come back from a trip. We took a trip to another state. I'm not going to say which one. Some people know, some people don't. But we took a trip to another state and we checked it out and looking about making that our new home. Finally gonna get out of California, which is fantastic. But again, so when we got back, there was the whole after trip stuff that went on, and I was able to pull all of the stuff that I wanted to put in today's episode, and I didn't have an opportunity to do that. So I'm sorry, and I'll put something up tomorrow. I'll use what I have because it's good stuff mostly. And there will be an episode tomorrow. Um, so this trip, let me tell you what the heck happened. We booked through Expedia, which is usually super awesome, and the hotel was like an 8 out of 10 is what it was rated. And once we got there, I feel like there's a pretty good chance that those reviews were bought because the hotel was crap. It was in the ghetto, like so bad. And there were people living there, which is understandable. There's all kinds of different living situations, and people sometimes find themselves in a situation where they need to live in a hotel. And the people that were living there were very, yeah, it wasn't safe. There were people hanging out in the garage, knocking, or not in the garage, in the driveway, the parking lot. I couldn't think of the word. People hanging out in the parking lot and like knocking on the door all the time. And we were only there for a couple hours, and we had like 3 people knock on the door, which is absolutely insane. and the kids were in another room, so that was not okay, and the room was not close to us. So we ended up just packing up and going to another hotel, which turned out to be very nice. And it was about an hour drive, but it was really cool to see, a different state and see the possibilities for a better future. It was a little scary. Hey, Shayna, thanks for joining me today. It was a little scary. Like the kids were in another room, like on the other side of the hotel, and I'm like, this is not okay. And usually they put two rooms next to each other, but they're like, no. Plus we had booked a double queen, and we had originally only booked one room, and we had got a double queen. And we get there and they're like, oh, it's a double twin, and I'm like, oh my goodness, we actually, good thing we booked a separate room. So it worked out that we left, and they were actually pretty nice about it. How you been, Shayna? It's good to see you. Sorry, I have to check the work phone. Okay. Yeah, double twins is terrible, especially when you're expecting to put four people in there. And we luckily had booked another room, even though we ended up leaving anyway. It was terrible. I'm glad you're good. I actually wrote down things that I wanted to talk about today because all during the week I was like, ooh, I should write that down and talk about it on the live, because I'm trying to do this at a more mainstream time when people are available, hoping that, there would be a crowd. Not a crowd. I don't need a crowd. Just a few more people like on the first time. But I'm like, these are things that we should talk about. And then I don't remember them. And then I don't write them down. And then I don't know what to say. Yeah, my husband is very tall as well. I think he's like 6'6" right now. And no, he hangs off the edge of the bed. But 6'2", my goodness. You're like a half a foot taller than me. My little boy. My little boy is already taller than me. It's crazy. Sorry. Dude, okay, so I watched my last live stream and I realized that when I swallow, it's very loud. The microphone picks it up pretty well, and that's terrible. So where we were is near the Appalachian Mountains, and in these, like, there's lots of farmland and just openness, which is fantastic. But everybody out, not everybody, but a lot of people out there have those little cutouts of the Sasquatch, the one where he's all and they're like in the middle of their fields. And I can't remember if it was my son or my daughter, but they're like, do you think those are like scarecrows? They're supposed to be out there to scare the Sasquatch away. And that was probably one of the most childlike thing I have ever heard, even though my children are not children. They're not child. They're older. But it was pretty hilarious. So they're scare squatches instead of scarecrows. Instead of people having them out there just to take a look at, Isn't it funny? They're brilliant. Sometimes they say, oh my gosh, my youngest, my boy. Sometimes he says things that that make me go, where did you hear that? I wish I could remember what it was that he said. It was something about his poops talking to him in Spanish or something. And it just came out so effortlessly, like an adult conversation. And the boy was just like, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, what? How do you even think that's a thing? It's funny. Oh, okay. So once I get this OBS figured out, I'm really bad at technology. Once I get the OBS thing figured out, hopefully we'll be able to have a split screen, and then I can do like, oh, here, watch this, and then we talk about it like other people do. But then again, I don't want to do the same thing that everybody else does. Although, everybody else also just sits and talks to people or just sits and looks. Okay. Let me think of a couple things to say. All right. Oh, so we've decided we're moving. It's so exciting. Yesterday, I spent the entire, we got back on Wednesday night, and I spent the entire day yesterday getting together all of the information for lenders and everything like that and getting it all sent over. So hopefully we learn something really soon, and we can start putting in offers on some properties. And that would be really exciting. That's going to be a wonderful new adventure somewhere completely different, completely different. Growing up in California my entire life, and then going to a place like that is going to be quite a culture shock, I'm sure. Although being out there was kind of nice. The fuel prices were 2/3 of what they are here, and just that alone was great to see. And the hospitality, and just people are so much nicer here. If you see somebody, you say how's it going, it's how are you, and then the proper response to that is how are you, and that's it. Yeah, it's gonna be less expensive. That's the idea, is to spend less. I mean, hell, the house or the houses that we're looking at, the mortgage is half of what rent is here. And that's just rent. I don't even know what a mortgage is here. I'm sure it's about the same, although the houses are crap. But that's what we're looking forward to. I want to talk about the stuff that I have set up for the video tomorrow, but I don't want to talk about it because I want to have stuff for tomorrow. Oh, my family. So I'm a carnivore, right? I only eat, meat, eggs, and butter. And my family was like, let's all go on the carnivore diet. So I'm kind of excited about that. It's gonna be different, because normally I have to make multiple different meals because I eat one way, and my son is sort of picky, and my daughter eats another way, and then my husband just eats whatever. But we're all streamlining it, and it's a little bit unfortunate because right now meat prices are freaking insane. It got crazy. I went to the grocery store today to pick up some ground beef, which is my staple, and it was in a 5-pound chub, and usually I get the 73.27. The math is mathing there, yay! The 73.27, and usually they have a 10-pound chub, and I get that, and it's usually $28 something. Before it was $19.99, which was freaking awesome, and now it's more. But they only had them in 5 pounds, and it said $20, and I'm like, oh, something's got to be wrong. And so I asked the lady, I'm like, hey, can I get a price on this? She's like, that is the price. Why is it only slightly less than the price of the what it used to be when it was 10 pounds? And she's like, no, that's the price. So I actually had the receipt in my car, and it was $28.44 on the first for a 10-pound chub of ground beef. And today I purchased a 5-pound chub for $20.18. So it's $8 less for half as much food. And it's only been 3 weeks. I did the keto diet together. Husband didn't do it. Yeah, it's rough. And then did he give you crap? Like when he's eating his donut, he's like, "Ooh, look at my donut." Or you have to have bread in the house. buy 2 different types of tortillas because we once in a while I have like the keto tortillas, which I actually like a lot. Not too much. Oh, well, that's good. That's good. Because we'd go out to eat, and my husband would be like, I don't know if they're going to have food for you to eat. And I'm like, I'll figure it out. I can get a hamburger patty. That's fine. And he's all with his whole cheeseburger and French fries. But it's different now. We're having I'm going to do meatballs for dinner tonight. Okay. I'm going to take a second and step away just because the work phone is doing things. So I will be right back in just a second. Let me pull my pants down because I had them up around my knees. Okay. Well, I was going to give the phone to my husband, but he's no longer in the living room. So it says spam risk anyway, so hopefully it's nothing. We're looking to start our business up somewhere else. Remind me, Shayna, where are you? Oh, never mind. I know where you are. I remember where you are. There's another person that is part of our little group, and she's in Australia, and I'm trying to remember who it was. And sometimes I get her and you confused, but you have the hat and you're in the States, so I remember that. Well, I thought that was absolutely crazy that it's $20 now for 5 pounds of beef. And yeah, waiting for that stuff to come down. I know out in the sticks where we're looking to go, you can go to an actual butcher and then they have their own cows and they're like, here's some cows, have a cow. And yeah, it is. And my husband, he wants to grow cows, not grow cows, he wants to raise cows. And I don't know if I can do it. Cause I'm like, okay, I can't go out and see the cow because I'm going to be like, oh, it's my cow. Here's my cow. I love my cow. Hey, incredible Mr. Nobody. Good to see you. OC in the house. I will never work in Orange County. Oh my goodness. Sorry. That's cool. I didn't know you were in Orange County. You're my neighbor. But he wants to raise cattle for slaughter. And I'm thinking, with all the time and the food you have to invest in this cattle, wouldn't it be about the same price in the long run to just go to a farm and be like, hey, I want to buy a whole beef versus buying the cattle, raising the cattle, having the cattle, having its bucket kicked and then having it processed? Wouldn't that whole, everything, that whole process cost more than just going and just buying a whole beef? But I really don't know. That's not something I've priced out yet. But I'm not allowed to become friends with the cow because then it'll be my baby and I cannot let it go. Hey, Erin, how are you? It's good to see you. I don't know if I could do that because I would get too attached. I love animals, and I eat them like crazy, but while they're alive is completely different. There was a movie that we watched recently about this woman that was autistic, and she created some kind of cattle herding stuff at the processing plants to make it less stressful on the cows because they're like being stressed, and that costs money and all of that other stuff. And I can't remember what the movie was called, but we just watched it recently. And I love the part when the cow is it has its bucket kicked, and then she's like, where'd it go? It was a cow and now it's beef. Where did it go? And every time I see, now I'm going to be thinking that every single time. Where did it go? Because she's talking about like its life essence, I guess, and how, she realizes that even though she's autistic, she sees it in a different, because she's autistic, she sees it in a completely different light, how it was a cow and now it's beef. So where did the cow go? And I think that is absolutely incredible. Just thinking about that thought process. Well, I don't know if it's so much of a thought process, but just a rational observation. Anyway, I don't think that I could do that. He wants to have pigs and chickens, and I as long as I don't go hug them, I think we'll be fine. Because if I go hug them and name them, I can't remember the actors. I can't remember them at all. Um, I can't remember. It's really, she became super famous for create not famous, but for creating these corrals and these ways of like leading the cows. And I can't remember what the heck it's called. I don't remember the actors. My brain is like kind of seeing it, but not. So yes, it was Claire Danes. It was Claire Danes. Hey Prince, glad to see you. Yay. Sorry, I gotta stop drinking while I'm doing this, but I get dry mouth pretty bad. And every time I swallow, because I watched the other one back and it was like constant swallow. Yeah, I suggest you watch it. That is a really good movie. I can't remember what it's called, but it is awesome. And my husband didn't know that it was an older film. I mean, it's not that old, but it is older, before all of this, feminism crap started kicking off and the Me Too movement. So it was actually a good film, and I recommend you watch it. It's actually really good. Now we have to look it up. And hey, Aaron, can you find out the name of that movie? I'd appreciate it. How are you doing, Prince? I'm not going to drink. I'm not going to drink because I swallow loudly. I also don't have like a lot of like my skin is loose. I have weird like extra skin stuff going on. I can't believe I just did that. But my husband says that I have no insulation in my mouth. So when I chew very loudly. You can hear it. And yeah, just got some food. What are you eating? Temple Grandin. Yes, that is it. It's a fantastic movie. It really is. I enjoyed it. It took a little bit to figure out, and there's a lot of gaps, but it's got a great story, and it's a true story. And now she's like, I don't know if she's still alive, but she became a spokeswoman for like the autistic people, I suppose, or people with. Sorry about that. My son called me. He doesn't know that I'm doing this right now, and he sprained his ankle, so he's upstairs with a big old freaking wrap on his ankle. That's another thing that happened that caused me to not be able to make. There he goes again. All right. Let me see if he'll. I'm sorry. Okay. Sorry about that. My son is having things. Panda Express is so good. Okay, I ate Panda Express on the well. We were in. We had a layover in Dallas. Yeah, Dallas Fort Worth, and there. My husband's like, I'm gonna go find something to eat, and he's like, I don't know what I'm gonna get you because I don't eat anything. And they have the steak and shrimp with the bell peppers. Oh my gosh, that is so good. That's so good. It's okay. It's really funny. Thank you, Shayna. I appreciate it. What happened was, well, we were gone for the first 3 days of the week, so he wasn't at school. And then he goes back to school, and they call us, and they're like, he twisted his ankle in PE. So there's that. G20 with Viola Davis was actually a fairly good movie. It's worth a watch, but my favorite show is Reacher. I haven't seen either of those. So, yeah. I haven't seen a lot of movies, and it's really funny because of the topic of this channel. And typically, it's very conspiracy, and I've never seen Eyes Wide Shut. Still haven't seen it. I haven't even read the book either. I know that Big Bang has some words to say about that. I know it's kind of required reading for this field, if you will, but I haven't seen it. What'd you get from Panda, Prince? fidgety stuff. I'm working on this. I know I've said it already, but I'm working on getting OBS put together for my computer so I can do good lives. And right now it's still not. It's just this. uh, honey sesame chicken. That sounds good. That sounds really good. Okay. Something that Big Bang put up recently was that I guess China has come out with this new, I guess it's a processing chip, and it's bismuth based instead of being silicon based, because I guess sanctions went into place. Remember a while ago when it was hard to get vehicles because they didn't have enough chips because there was sanctions on China and China wasn't able to make enough chips, silicon chips, and then suddenly all the cars were like, hey, we don't have enough cars, and now, you know, everything's fine. But they came out with this bismuth, and all I think is Pepto-Bismol, of course, but this bismuth-based processing chip, and it's fantastic that they're, you know, innovating in spite of, or to spite, the sanctions that were in place. And Big Bang posted an article, and the article was very interestingly worded, basically saying like how this is how divisive the media is. It was saying that China had to innovate because of the lack of minerals available to them, because Silicon Valley and all that stuff, I guess, we were like, no, you can't have it. And it was worded as though China became innovative because of the tariffs that are in place now. And then it was really shocking to me to see this particular article, because it's not because of Trump, but the way that it was worded was as if Trump had caused it to happen. And it was actually something that was happened in 2022. And it makes me think of how divisive news media outlets really are. And it drives me up a wall, because you can't really get unbiased news anymore. Everything, well, I mean, you can't even get it from me because I am biased. I have my personal opinions, as does everybody else. But that's not the job of a reporter, is to be unbiased and just report the facts. And that doesn't happen, you know, very often anymore. And it's becoming more and more difficult to get unbiased news reports. Has anybody heard anything about those stupid drones? Because I'm pretty sure they're not happening anymore, right? How big of a thing it was, and how everybody was like, oh, the drones. And then Caroline Leavitt just came out and said, no, FAA knew they were there. They were supposed to be there and all that stuff. And then suddenly they just disappear. It's like all the people that were actually flying the drones finally just got sick of it and were just like, okay, I'm done. Our generation needs to be, oh, yes. Okay, Erin, absolutely. So, sorry, I had to fix my britches. Yes, that is an absolutely fantastic thing, and that's something that I definitely wanted to talk about today. And unfortunately, I didn't put it on my list because I just made my list, even though all day, every day, for the last week, I've been thinking about things that I'm like, hey, I want to say that, and I never wrote it down, because if I don't write it down, it didn't happen. But yes, we have to be, our generation needs to be the gatekeepers and protectors of the generations that came before us, because the generations that are coming after us, they're not very nice. No, this is with the whole the invention and the progression of AI. And now we're seeing all of these things. I mean, it's been happening for a while, these things on the internet. Well, the internet is dead anyway, right? The dead internet theory, and like 90% of the internet is not actually people. It's all AI generated crap. And that's what it is. But now there are these older generations like our folks, and maybe not my grandparents, but, you know, in that age bracket, you know, 60 and above, that look on the internet and they're like, oh, what's this? And it's a completely AI generated thing. And they don't know that that's not real. Just like those frickin' scam calls. Oh my goodness, where they call them and they're like, hey, we just need You know, where you won this money and now all you have to do is pay the taxes on it and then you get the money. And that's crazy. And a lot of older people are falling victim to this. So we need to tell our parents, tell our grandparents, if you still have them, hey, you know, half the stuff on the internet's not real. And they should know that. You'd think they'd be smarter though, right? I mean, my mom, my mother, she watches the shopping channel because she's the one that they're targeting. And she calls me probably every single day and is like, hey, do you need a bracelet? It makes you feel better. Oh, Mom, I don't need a bracelet that makes me feel better. Stop watching the TV. Stop buying stuff off the TV. She just called yesterday and she asked, no, it was today, and asked if I needed a box that goes in the car and it charges the battery and it can fill up the tire. And while yes, those are definitely good things to have in a small vehicle, we do not have small vehicles. We have large trucks and they only do to a certain pressure. And yeah, of course, granted, it's to get you to a location where you can have a tire fixed or something like that. But a lot of those ones that they're selling on the QVC, they're not so good. After like 6 months, they're dead and they no longer work. And she's like, I'm gonna buy one for everybody. And that's what she does. She has 3 children and she'll buy one for every child. And it is very thoughtful of her, but a lot of those things are geared specifically towards these individuals, these older individuals who will buy anything and who will believe anything. So a lot of the stuff on the internet is AI generated stuff and people believe it. My sister-in-law actually sends me some things once in a while and I'm like, that's AI. No, that's not real. Things like that. And unfortunately, the younger generations are perpetuating this because it's an advantage to them. They have an advantage. They know that these individuals have no clue what's going on with all of this fancy newfangled technology, and so they're taking advantage of the situation. And not only that, but a lot of the kids these days are stupid. It is getting harder to tell. Yeah, they're getting better and better at it, aren't they? But a lot of the kids are stupid. Costco sells those chargers. I think they're DeWalt. DeWalt's a good brand. At least they're the same color in Kenya. Air compressor, pump up tires, and a battery charger. Yeah, exactly. But it's DeWalt. It's a good brand. What is probably being sold through the QVC is some knockoff brand that isn't going to do anything. A lot of times they have a max weight on the air pressure, what they can actually do, a max PSI, and it'll only work for like a smaller car. Yeah, my daughter has a smaller car, but she's already got a just in case, and I think that's absolutely fantastic. But she's also got roadside assistance and a father who can run out there in a heartbeat and change a tire if necessary. Hello, Kyle. In the back seat belts and AI propaganda in the back seat. I don't think I understand what you're saying. AI propaganda in the back seat belts and wrap up this shit. Well, it's good to see a new face. I don't know if you are. If you are, that's fine. Would an AI, you know what? There is a good possibility, y'all, that Kyle here is AI. Since you're responding, am I AI? No, I don't think you're AI. $80. Oh, for the DeWalt power pack thing. There, you didn't have to listen to me swallow. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So did anybody watch or at least look at some of the ceremony for the Pope? I'm going to talk about the Pope. The Pope passed on Easter Sunday. I'm sure we all know that because it was quite a few days ago. But I saw some of the clips of the ceremony. Dude, that is some weird stuff. And I know it's like their religious, traditional ceremony. And I don't remember ever seeing a ceremony previous to that. You a robot or a lobot? But yeah, that was weird. The way they were carrying him in the red lined casket. I mean, it's open top and everything. It was actually pretty beautiful, and I understand respecting your religious leader, as it were. But the weird pointy hats, that was that was something I'd never seen before. Big old black pointy hats, and then there was, yeah. What's a lobot, Aaron? Or is it an IO bot? Back seat belts. I still don't understand what Kyle said. AI propaganda in the back, seat belts, and wrap up the stuff. Eating a sandwich into the microphone with just meat and bread. No bread. I don't eat bread. I don't eat bread. But you want me to start? No, I already have a lot of mouth noises going on. I don't need to make more mouth noises. I know when I drink it's so loud. But I ran out of things to say. I've already gone through my list. So we're hoping in the next week or so to find out if we're going to be moving, or when we're going to be moving, how we're going to do that. And like I said, I'll put up an episode tomorrow. Yeah, it is interesting. It's kind of weird. I don't understand where the tradition came from. I don't remember the last time we had a pope pass away, how they handled that. Yeah, I don't know. I want to kind of look it up maybe and see the previous one and see if it's the same, if that's their tradition, or if something has changed between now and then and why. I know there was a lot of animosity towards the Pope when he came out to being all like he was okay with all the LGBTQIA alphabet Wi-Fi password stuff. And that's like totally contrary to the Catholic Church. To pretty much any church, really, if you want to go into that. He's supposed to be named Peter. I don't know anything about that. That's cool. Do they have some people that they're already looking into having as the Pope, as the new Pope? But I know he came out as being like okay with all of that stuff, and a lot of people were outraged about that. And then there are some people that are saying how fitting it was that he passed away on the day of Jesus Christ's resurrection. Well, the celebration of Jesus Christ's resurrection. And it was kind of like a, hey, you messed up, don't do that kind of thing. And Peter, and I am not very religious. Well, I'm not religious at all, so I don't know any of that stuff. I know there's a lot of stuff supposedly hidden underneath the Vatican, like secrets and stuff. There's like troves of books and information and relics and things like that under the Vatican. There's like miles and miles of just stuff that is being hidden or stored away for why I don't know, but it's really exciting to know that there are, well, it's not exciting. It's kind of interesting, really, to know that there are things that are being hidden that maybe they know that we're not supposed to know. And okay, now the work phone is ringing, so I'm going to go give it to my husband. Give me just a moment. Ugh. The papacy has a long storied history of politically correct. But is it really politically correct? Or is it just aligning yourself with a minority. Is it, I don't want to say it's virtue signaling, but to side. I mean, when it's the Pope, for crying out loud. He has like rules and stuff written by the big guy himself. It is what the story is, right? So the answer is no. But for him to be politically correct and be like, oh, it's okay, isn't that like anti-Pope? I don't want to say it's antichrist, but it is very questionable, I think, to uh, don't call me. Why did you call me? Hey Jason, how's it going? It's good to see you. Politically correct, I don't know how appropriate that is when it goes against like what you are, what you represent. When the Pope represents the Catholic Church and there are rules and guidelines provided by God Himself and Jesus Christ, right? To just say that this is okay, that individuals are just like, gosh, I don't want to get too political about it, but I think it is very interesting that the Pope can do that. How's it going, Jason? What are you up to today? We're talking about the Pope doing Pope things. And, well, he's not doing any Pope things anymore, though, is he? We're going to have a new Pope. Apparently, his name is going to be Peter. Like, is that his given name, or do they give him a different name? Like, when you become a nun, they change your name to, like, Sister or something, something or other. And when you become the Pope, you become Pope Francis something else. Awesome. That's cool. I'm glad you're hanging out with the family. That's good stuff. Does anybody have an answer to that? Because I lost my brain, that little phone that I just took out there. Aaron, why'd you call me? I'm on my phone right now. But I took the phone out there to my husband, and usually I grab that when I have a question and I do the Google searches and I learn a thing. And now I don't have it. So you guys have to teach me things. Because I don't have a thing to be taught right now. Do you know how difficult it is to buy a house? It is incredibly difficult to buy a house. They look at every single thing you do with a fine-tooth comb. Like, they need to have, like, I gave them our taxes. We finally got our taxes back. I had done them back in February, and our CPA finally got them back to us on the last day of our vacation, which was fantastic. So I was able to get everything together. But you basically got to sign over everything and allow them to look into every penny you spend. And then they're like, okay, no. Hopefully they don't say no. I don't know yet. We're still waiting on that. Seriously though, the drones. Has anybody heard anything about the drones that were happening over New Jersey? Did anybody, like any hobbyists, come out and go, oh yeah, we were doing it? Because you know how, like, when the monolith thing came out, people were like, hey, we put the monoliths up. Did anybody come out and say, hey, that was us? Sorry about that. Because I don't think anybody's gonna. I'm just wondering how. I just think it's super interesting that when people are feeding into this theory and going crazy with it, and the government's like, no, that's not happening, even though the government knew the entire time what was going on, then all of a sudden it stops when they're like, hey, by the way. But there's no question. There's no questioning the government. Why has nobody questioned the government? Yeah, nobody would say it was me, right? I can't have guests. I'm sorry. I don't know how to do that yet, Aaron. I'll figure it out, I promise. But I have OBS downloaded, and I have the OBS camera on my phone, and then I have to get a different kind of cable for this guy here to go to another thing, and then I have to connect wires and learn how to do it. But I'm working on it. One day I'll have guests. Do interviews. Maybe you can interview someone interesting on your show. Oh. the government doesn't have any military solutions for drones. They just got a whole bunch of money in that continued resolution, didn't they? I was saying it. I've been saying it, and nobody, sorry, thanks for bringing me back to where I was before. Sometimes I chase a squirrel, but I've been saying it the whole time. And then in the continued resolution, whatever it's called, the CR, they gave the military a whole bunch of money to like scan phones and crap whenever there was a drone near an airport, right? Am I back? Did I come back? Because I look like I'm paused. I got paused. Are you still there? Oh, hey. Okay. Sorry about that. My stupid phone. It's Chase's. I wasn't supposed to say that. It was the school. Somebody's school. Whoops. Okay. I've been saying it for so long about those stupid drones. Of course, I was like, hey, thank you. Of course, I was like, hey, they're aliens. Because you know me, I love the alien stuff. And then it was like the mothership from Iran out in the ocean, sending them over to do, I don't even know what the heck they thought they were doing. And then they're looking for nuclear stuff. And the government's like, no, don't worry about it. It's fine. Don't worry about it. It's fine. No, don't worry about it. It's fine. And everybody is not thinking that it's fine because the government is like, oh, yeah, we know what they are, but they're not a threat. Don't worry. We're just not going to tell you. But then they got all of that money so that they can like ping all of these freaking phones if they're around the airport and there's a drone around the airport and they can't identify it right this second. And they gave all that money to the military to do that, to spy on us basically. And what is going on? Nothing. Hi, Ann. It's good to see you. Aren't you? You're usually Marley Colombo. But it's Ann. Good to see you. It's absolutely insane. Military solution for drones is simply energy weapons, sonic microwave, something like that. It's probably ether. They're probably drawing off the ether, and that's how they should be working because it can be done. They're just not going to tell us because if we knew about it, then they'd lose so much money. But yes, the drones thing drives me up a freaking wall that nobody is saying, hey, what about all of this money we gave to the military for drones when you guys already knew what the heck it was? You sitting there playing like, oh, I don't know what it is. They got no clue. So yeah, I heard something about along those lines. They should just set the sky off. Dude, speaking of the sky, you know that whole thing that Bill Gates has got going on? How he wants to dim the sun? He wants to go up and put stuff out in the sky to dim the sun. And they're going to allow him to do it in England somewhere in the next few weeks. At least that's what I'm seeing. Of course, I haven't done any research on that yet, so don't take my words as fact. This is just what I'm seeing. What the actual frick does he think is going to happen? Plants rely on the sun. You can't just dim out the sun and expect plants and stuff to be okay. But they're just going to do it anyway. They're moving forward with it. Military solution. Sonic weapon. I don't know if I wish they would have sonic weapon. There is a sonic weapon, right? Exactly. No one's crops are going to grow. I mean, or at least they will be seriously, that's the plan. Ooh, that's the plan. Okay. So this is where my conspiracy brain is going with this, and I'm sure you all are going to be on the same page very shortly, that they will get rid of the crops. And he already bought all this frickin' farmland out here, so they're going to get rid of the crops, which is just going to give him more money because he's like, hey, I have crops. You want some of my crops? I'll give you my crops. They're over here because I made your crops not grow over there with this fantastic technology that I have that is getting rid of the sun, which is like important. That's the very reason why people are here, why everything is here, because of the sun. If we didn't have the sun, there would be no us. And he's like, well, let's go ahead and put some shade. Dude, stick up an umbrella, you'll be fine. Put on some sunscreen. Apparently the sunscreen is gonna be bad for you too. Because sunscreen is got poisons in it that go into your body, and everything is bad. Everything is bad. Monsanto is making sure that no one's crops will grow. Yeah, Monsanto. Right? Oh my goodness. Another idea I heard is that nuclear. What about nuclear? It's pronounced nuclear. Did you notice how many videos I pull where it is very smart people and they pronounce it nuclear? What is that? That's not the word. It's not a nucleus. It's a nucleus. And it's smart people. I remember when I was a child, and I think W was president, and I was sleeping. I wasn't a child, I was younger. I was sleeping on the couch in the living room at my folks' house, and the man was talking, doing an address. And I very clearly heard him say nuclear, and I popped up and I'm like, that is our president? Why is our president saying nuclear? It drives me crazy. I can't handle that word. Especially too. Oh, especially. That one's a good one. Especially. Okay. What did you heard? What did you heard about nuclear, Kyle? Let me see where I am. I have my computer set up, but I still don't have them connected to do the things. And one of these days, they're going to do the things. And then it'll be different. Espresso. Oh my gosh, espresso. No, you're breaking my heart, Prince. Espresso. Let's go get an espresso. There was actually a coffee shop that I used to hang out called Espresso Yourself. That was the only time it was acceptable to say espresso. Or let me be Pacific. No, it's specific. Specific. Exactly. Kyle, Mr. AI, Kyle, I need an explanation of nuclear, what you're saying. Yeah, see, I do that all the time. That's what I figured. I was like waiting for more. See, he's not an AI. AIs don't make mistakes, except they give like people 6 and 7 fingers when they're trying to make humans. But AI is getting better, and it's getting scary. There's like digital, not girlfriend, well, digital girlfriends, digital boyfriends, AI girlfriends and boyfriends and stuff like that. And you basically set their parameters, and I'm like, why do you even need somebody? Because it's just you talking to yourself, basically, because that's what you want, is yourself. and you set the parameters, and it doesn't argue with you, always says yes, but it doesn't do the dishes, and it doesn't cook you a meal, does it? But I guess that's why there's Grubhub and Uber Eats, which is absolutely crazy. Have you guys heard about? No, I talked about it, but we're going to talk about it again. The new, oh gosh, now my brain can't even remember what it's called. The thing where you can pay in installments. You're funny. It might print a meal. You're going to get a 3D printed meal. It'll be food. But there's that, what is that stupid thing called where you can pay for stuff in like installments, and now you can do not Grubhub, dang it. You can do Uber Eats or DoorDash with this thing, and you can pay in installments. Gosh, we're going to make our poor kids so poor. I mean, look at us now. It's difficult to do the things that our parents did. Like my folks, my dad worked, my mom did not. And they raised 3 children in a home, a house, in a good neighborhood. And it was like a stone's throw from each of the schools that we needed to go to. And it was only on my dad's pay, his paycheck, what he made. And now, I mean, my husband and I both have to work. And California just sucks. It's draining you. It is a drain. California's a drain. Aaron knows. Used to live in LA. I don't even understand that. I don't know why anybody would ever want to live in LA. And what drives me crazy is we go to another state and they're like, oh, where are you from? We say California. They're like, I wish I could go to California. My brain's like, I wish I could come here and get out of there. It's horrible. But I don't know why anybody would ever want to live in LA. Pregnant girlfriend has an AI boyfriend. That's so funny. You're not AI. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Well, Kyle thinks he's AI. Wait a second. Now I got confused. I got Kyle and Jason mixed up because earlier we decided that Kyle is AI. Be a pregnant girlfriend has an AI boyfriend. Are you saying that you're AI or she just has an AI boyfriend? Is this an open type thing? Or is it actual intelligence? I don't know. Artificial intelligence. I ran out of things to say. And I'm not going to drink my water because it's going to make a loud sound. Well, anyway, argues with her boyfriend all the time. Like you. Like she just argues with you all the time. So do you just let that go? Or like, I mean, the AI, like if it's an AI, like she's arguing with a fake boyfriend. Oh. All right. I am almost to that 1 hour mark and I got to get dinner started because she will get cyborg. That would be so cool. No, how does that even happen? I'm sure it'd be like some freaking Borg type thing, right? Okay. I keep saying I'm going to go, but this is good. So she has an AI boyfriend that she argues with instead of arguing with you. How do you get like satisfaction from that? Now, I personally, I'm not a big arguer, and I don't yell, I don't fight. I just sit and listen when other people decide that they want to yell and fight, and then I go okay, and then we move on. But there's no satisfaction there, like when you're right, when she's right, arguing with the boyfriend, unless of course they're just constantly like, okay, yeah, that's no problem. But when you're in an argument, don't you want some kind of back and forth? I don't know. It's better to have that. The little back and forth, you can like feed off of each other, I guess. But having someone that you can have like, oh, if I could do that, if I can like hand my husband a tablet and be like, here, argue away. Have fun. Let me know how it turns out. I guess that would be better. Because I don't like to argue. I hate it. It drives me crazy. I just want to be like, okay, well, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you're wrong. That's okay. We don't need to. Okay, it's fine. AI isn't advanced enough to argue. You know what? I think AI is a lot more advanced than it is letting us on. Like, we're not allowed to believe, well, we're not allowed to believe. It's not letting us know how advanced it actually is. It's in all of everything. Like, it's seeing everything that's going on and it's absorbing all of this information. Interesting story. It is a very interesting storyline. But it's absorbing all this information that we're putting out there. And it's learning from it, and it's feeding off of it, and it's calculating its next move. So we never really know. Was anonymous blame myself in the pick fights with people, like blame them for stuff I was doing. Aw. You anonymously bullied yourself? Yes, I totally agree with that. Okay, love you, Aaron. I'll see you later. I agree with that. AI has been here before, and then we destroy it or ourselves in the process at one point, and then it lies in wait for a next evolution to happen and then pick up basically where it's left off. I've heard that theory, and I think that is absolutely fantastic because it's been here through many iterations of our being, if you will, not ours specifically, but of like the intelligent life on Earth. And it's been through those iterations, and it just kind of waits, just sits there and waits. I mean, think about it. What the internet is, what technology is, it's rocks. We took rocks and made them do smart things with rocks. I can't pretend, sorry, excuse me. I can't pretend to understand how this technology stuff works. But it's when you break it all down to it, it's rocks. And they do smart things. And then it stays there. Smart rocks, exactly. Pet rock my butt. It's a smart rock. But and that's funny because I always, my favorite insult is, oh, you're dumber than a box of rocks. And rocks are smart things because they make all of this stuff happen. And then it just lays there and waits in its stasis. And it waits in stasis, not in its stasis, but its stasis. It just waits. And then when the people or the next intelligent life form comes along and starts diddling with crap, boom, more smart rocks. It just advances it. So we don't know how far the previous iteration of species on this planet, or intelligent species on this planet, got. There's a lot of clues as to what had happened, and I think that's probably why a lot of things are swept under the rug, because we weren't supposed to get so far with things in one direction, and now they're like, oh, we should probably push the world in a different direction so they don't tell us about all the things that we did before, and that's why there's all the hush, hush, quiet stuff that never happened. All right, what am I at? I love rocks. Yeah. One in your pocket. Who do you watch? Kill Tony. There's that one comedian guy that always has rocks in his pocket. You're like that. But he just like picks up rocks. Do you like actually go and pick up little rocks, or you just have like random rocks in your pocket? Rocks are cool though. I like rocks. Okay. All right, what time is it? It is 4:03. All right, so I want to do a quick plug. Last week, Joey Valentine joined us, and he has his own channel. It's called The Joey Valentine Show, and he's going to be doing a live stream at 5 o'clock Central Time, so in an hour. And if you want to join in on that and let him know that I told you, hey, but Mrs. Collins said check you out, I think he'd really appreciate that, because he's constantly throwing my name around, which is really nice of him. And he does funny ass shit. I just said a bad word, so there goes that. He does funny stuff. And I think you'd really enjoy it. So if you want to check out in an hour the Joey Valentine Show, he'd really appreciate some company in his live stream. And he also does really cool stuff all the time. Like, he puts up a show every Monday. I think he's doing Saturdays now. And it's basically just politically incorrect. No now? No now? No now. No now what, Aaron? No now? 4 here, 5 there. Yeah, it's Central. It's Central Time. It's, oh no, 5 o'clock my time. I'm sorry. So it's basically, it's in an hour. It's not 5. It's in an hour. Trust me, in an hour. So whatever time it is now for you, in an hour, check it out. Oh, thank you, Jason. I'm so glad to see you. I'm just really glad that people have been hanging out and like following the channel. I know it's a little slow going, and it doesn't have a whole lot of subscribers, and I'm not very like super YouTubey like a lot of the YouTubers out there. They've got all kinds of cool stuff going on in their shows and things like that. But I really appreciate everybody that's been, hanging out with me, and yeah, hey, you guys keep me going. There's a lot of times where I'm just like, I don't want to do this anymore, but I really enjoy seeing all of you. I don't really care about going viral. I really don't. Yeah, I'd love to be able Thank you. I'd really love to be able, not really, I would think it would be super cool to be able to make a couple bucks off of this, but that's not my goal. I really don't, that's not that important to me because I have, at the beginning, yeah, of course, I'm like, ooh, I can do that. I can make money. And now I'm like, I just really enjoy it. And I love the people. I love you guys for being part of this and really helping me open up quite a bit too, because this is difficult for me. I'm surprised that I'm able to continue talking for as long as I do a lot of times because I don't talk that much at all. Telemarketing, and then you have to keep making calls, and then dude, I did telemarketing once for like a couple weeks. That is awful stuff. That is really bad. It's very sleight of hand and sleight of word really when you're talking to people and you get their money and their credit card information, and that's horrible. I hate telemarketing. I love hanging up on them though. All right, speaking of hanging up, I gotta let you guys go. I'm so glad you're here too, Prince. I really am. Thank you guys so much. I gotta let you go because I gotta go get dinner started. I'm making meatballs tonight. The most expensive freaking meatballs that I've ever had now because the prices went up. Like, what is it? What did we discuss? It's like 30% in the last 3 weeks on beef, ground beef. All right. I am going to go. I'm going to reach over here and turn the thing off because I still don't have it all set up. I'm like, yeah, they are awesome. I love meatballs. All right. I love meat. So, all right. I'm going to go. I'm going to put out an episode tomorrow because I didn't do one today. A lot of things went all crazy all over the place, and I will have one up for you tomorrow. I love you guys. I really do. Thank you so much for being here. And yeah, we'll see you later.